It is a warm one today.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome, everyone, back to Combat Confidential. This will be episode 2 of season 2. So, thanks for tuning in. Today, I have my friend, Miss Éabha Cruise, fighting out of SBG HQ.
Yes.
So look here, we'll get right into things here. You know, so you're a Jiu-Jitsu purple belt, correct?
Yeah.
You just got that?
Yeah, got it in December.
Okay, so
Right
so you got it
Christmas.
when I got my blue belt too.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, like I said, I'll get right into it here. Like, what got you into Jiu-Jitsu? What did you start first? What was your first combat sport?
I guess you could say karate.
Okay.
I did karate for just under a year when I lived in Kerry. So when we moved out of Kerry, I left the karate because I didn't love it. It was technically my first martial arts, but I didn't love it. It was kind of just for the time being down there. I'd always done Gaelic. Pretty much my whole childhood I done Gaelic. And then when I moved back to Dublin, I got back into the Gaelic, but I kept having knee injuries.
Okay.
And the doctors kind of sat me down one day and they said to me, would you consider doing any other sport that has less impact? I ended up doing probably the worst sport for injuries, but I ended up wanting to do Muay Thai.
Okay.
Yeah, I was looking at all these like knockout reels on YouTube and stuff, and I was kind of bored with Gaelic in anyways. We were Division 1 and 2 in Dublin, and it was getting to the stage where I was kind of like getting a bit bored with it anyway, so I was happy to start a new sport. So I was like, right, fuck it, I'm going to go down and do a bit of Muay Thai. And we looked up the closest gym in the area, Tala, and the cheapest one, and I ended up going down to Spartan. That's now closed down after the COVID. Do you know it? Yeah.
It's on Belgrade Road.
Yeah,
it was on the Belgrade
it had been. I think they moved after I left. They moved somewhere else.
A couple times.
Yeah. I went down there, and they were like, "Well, we don't actually do Muay Thai classes specifically. It's MMA, and tonight Jiu-Jitsu was on." So I was like, right, I'll give that a bash, and straight away just loved it, fell in love immediately. I was lucky, when I went onto the mats, there was a lad that I went to school with,
Okay.
and straight away he seen me and he called me over, and it did take a bit of that kind of made you, I think, you know, especially being a girl going onto a mat and you're the only girl and like, what is this and stuff. It was nice having Philip, if you're watching, legend. It was nice having him there and helping me, and you know, he was showing me bits, and that was really nice. And I remember we was on arm bars on the first day, and I loved it from the start. I really just loved it.
How old were you when you...
I was 15.
15?
15.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's 7 years ago.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So that, what, 22 now?
22 now,
Okay,
yeah. Just gone 22, yeah.
Okay, so were you always kind of like this, like did you always kind of like these sports or active sports or physical sports kind of growing up? Or?
Yeah, like I've always been involved in sports. If it wasn't Gaelic, in school I'd done basketball and I'd done camogie, and I was just always doing some kind of sport, but Gaelic would have been my biggest thing, like after school, like going up and just training, and that would have been me, you know, my head was focused on that, like, but I kind of didn't do it once to get out of class, you know, the kind of way, like any excuse just get out. I was doing sports, but yeah, no, I've always loved sports, and I kind of grew up with a bit of martial arts in my life anyways, through my family, like various kind of bits. So then that kind of brought me to the karate, but karate is very different from what I do now. Like, it's very, you know, it's kind of like...
Who in your family was involved?
My dad's. Yeah,
your dad?
My dad's.
What did he do?
A mixture of different things, kind of non-traditional martial arts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I guess for maybe a lot of women, their families might try to maybe hold them back a little bit from doing something this kind of physical, but in your...
Yeah.
You probably would have had the opposite experience, especially with you. Well, I don't know. You know, like some dads probably aren't necessarily... You know, trying to push their kids into doing something like this. But how was your dad? Was he very supportive, or?
Yeah, I've always kind of been like left to make decisions on my own. I was never pushed in any direction to do this or not do this. But since I've been young, he's been tipping away with and just messing more so. Do you know, like it'd be made into games and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like it wouldn't be like, right, we're gonna do this. It'd be more so just little bits here and there, like. And I've always loved that part of it, like, so yeah, like when you look back from over the years, it's kind of been steps to get me here, but I am just delighted that I did find it at such a young age. Like I was young enough starting it, like so now having said that, I'm out about 2 years on injuries.
Okay.
I've done my knee twice, and then
What did you do to your knee?
I've done ligaments and dislocations on both times.
Did you have surgery? Or?
I've dodged surgery, thank God. Yeah. On the second one, I had a cast every time now. And on the second one, when I went to the hospital, they kept me in overnight and they wanted to do the surgery, but then someone came down, the head of like surgery, whatever, came down, he looked at my leg and he actually says, I don't need it if they can change the position of my cast. So actually this was for the broken leg, this one. That's what they wanted to do the surgery on, to put plates in, to put the bone back. And it was very excruciating getting the cast put on because I broke the fibula, but I also dislocated a bone in my foot. So to put the cast on, they had to pop the bone back into place, and that was very, very sore. They gave me the gas stuff. That's legal, that stuff too.
That's tough going.
Yeah. But putting it back on was worse because they had to pop the bone back in, taken out and everything like that. So I just didn't want that. So somehow doing the right recovery and everything like that, I got away with the surgery and I've been fine. The knee, maybe, I done that twice. So that one hasn't given me any trouble now in about 4 years. So that's going well, but the second injury did happen about a year after the first one, so it was kind of weak going back in. Yeah. But it looks part of the game, isn't it? Like,
It is. Yeah. No, I'd say you're fortunate that you've had your injuries, but they haven't been more or less that serious.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
Especially if you're able to dodge the surgery.
Yeah, that's big. Like, yeah, it is. Like, and I think if anything, it gives you a bigger drive when you do go back. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can go two ways with it. You can say fuck this, or you can want it even more. Do you know? And every time I've just went back even hungrier. After doing the leg injury, on my fibula, I ended up having my debut at the World Championships only a few months after coming back into training. So that was amazing. Yeah, it was mad the way it worked out. Like, I'd been known on the Irish scene, but I'd never actually got around to fighting at that stage. So it was amazing making that on such a big stage. I trained for so many years. It was great to get to showcase that on a big stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially that for the IMAAFs. Yeah. Yeah, that's incredible.
It's the IMAAFs, yeah.
All right, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, so you're 15 when you started.
15.
Right. So what did you know right away? Or sorry, you knew right away. Then like, this is it. Like, this is awesome.
I knew, like, in the first couple of weeks, to be honest, I knew this is what I want to do full time. And I was still very young at that stage, but I just knew, like, I had a gut feeling, like, I just didn't. Nothing else was interesting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, nothing else was interesting, and even school, to be honest. I did do my leaving certs. I did finish it. But I actually never counted my points. I just decided not to even. I just gave up after a while. I didn't want to drop out, so I still went to school, and I'd actually had good attendance, really good attendance. But I skipped 4th year, so come 5th year, that was like, I knew I wanted to go pro, but I'd actually been going back and forth if I wanted to do a college as a backup. And the whole years, this was kind of going through my head. It's like, yes, I'm going pro, but, things happen and it might be good to have a decent leaving cert behind you. So I was kind of going back and forth with this, and that's why I still kept, chipping away at school and doing the best that I could, really.
That's a good mindset to have. You're thinking long term in your future, but you're also thinking about right now as well. So
just trying to get the best of both in. But then when it came to 5th year, it was kind of like prepping for the leaving and all, and it was like starting to get a bit more intense, and it's like, is there any point in doing this if I don't need it, so basically 5th year I decided, no, like, I'm gonna just stick a pro. I'm not gonna bother going to college. I was gonna move to Limerick and do event management. That was what I was set on, because I love organising.
Okay.
Like, my job right now is administration, and it does suit me because I do love to bit of OCD going on, so I like to organise things. Yeah, it ticks a few boxes. Like, so that would have been cool, and I'm a people's person and stuff like that. So I was thinking event management, but I ended up settling on doing makeup.
Okay.
And making kind of me money out of makeup in the meantime. And that's what I did. I did a full-time makeup course for a year.
Yeah.
It was 4 days a week, and I did love that, and I passed it. I actually failed the written part and had to redo that, but passed it in the end. There's a lot of like
But there's a lot that goes into it.
it's not just painting a face, like
there's definitely more to it.
the muscles, the skin, like there's a lot that actually goes into it on that other side. So it was tricky enough.
A bit of art.
Bit of art, absolutely.
Not everyone's face is the same. And
Yeah.
you gotta
The bone structure you need to learn. Yeah. There's so much that goes into it, even like down to skin infections and stuff like that. Like if you came in, like someone came in to get their face done, like you actually have to do like an exam on them. And if they have like some kind of like goo sticking out their eye, or you see something, like you have the right to say, sorry, like I'm not painting your face, like, because not only are you gonna infect my products, yes, you clean it after, but like you don't want that.
Yeah, sure.
And it's not good for them either. So there's a lot that actually goes into the makeup, but I never ended up pursuing it. I got the certificate and stuff, and I put an awful lot of money into my kit, but I never really ended up doing it. I've just been working full time and training. It just suited me better to do that.
Fighters' faces.
Yeah, yeah. Like there is opportunity in the future. Do you know, there is. Like there's something there. It's just at the minute.
For sure, definitely.
Yeah, in the past few years, I haven't really been at that I've wanted to kind of continue on, but it's suiting me for the minute. Just working.
So, as a woman, like, what do you find it challenging to be in, like, the world of MMA and Jiu-Jitsu? Like, is there, certainly from your peers, I wouldn't say you'd receive a lot of like negative pressure, but I'd say, like, outside looking in, people who aren't a part of things, like, do you feel that as a woman who's competing and has their eyes on, being a pro?
Yeah, like you do kind of get it in all aspects of life, because it's not normal and it's still a new sport, generally speaking, and for women it is even newer.
Yeah.
Like 10 years we're talking, like within 10 years-ish. So yeah, you do, but you have to just kind of remind yourself when situations come up just to stand your ground. And
do you have any like specific experiences or?
Not really. Like it's just there's nothing bad. Do you know what I mean? You might get like the odd kind of comments, or like, people maybe saying, oh, like people have said to me over the years, oh, would you not have done this? Would you not have done that? And it's like, but I don't like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's not what my passion is. So whenever things come up, I kind of just brush it off, and it's like, look at, like, this is what I'm doing. Like, it's none of your business at the end of the day. So I'm just gonna keep on doing me no matter what, because it's what I love and nothing else interests me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, did you find regular training partners?
Sorry.
To learn with? Did you kind of have like your
in my first gym?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did. It was a small gym now. It was. Have you been in Spartan?
I was at. I was there. I went there. This before I had started anything. I had visited the place to to see what it was like.
Yeah.
And I'd actually I had shown up there when I think they were closing up from a class, or maybe I just caught them as they were just there during the day, but they weren't doing anything, and they're like kind of told me to come back, and I never went back.
Okay.
But I mean, so I'm familiar with the place.
Okay.
I remember what it looks like.
Yeah. It was small. It was a very small mall. And that gym, I was the only girl I was there for I think 2.5 years. And the whole time I was the only girl. And I did have partners.
Yeah.
And there was people there that would have been a bit smaller, but geez, compared to what I'm training with now, like girls that are my size, and just so many, even lads that are more lads that are my size, is just such a more variety. So I did have partners, and I didn't really struggle to have partners or anything like that. But like majority of the time, like I was going against people that weren't my size, and they were bigger, because like at the end of the day, even if you are going against a man, he's still a man. He's still stronger and bigger and stuff. So I didn't struggle, but after leaving that gym and then moving to other gyms, I did realise that I had developed a kind of like a dog mentality in my fighting game, and that's what I kind of started off with. And it was kind of just like and go, and like, you know what I mean, like I wasn't as technical, like, because I kind of was fighting bigger people most of the time. But then when I started to train with girls, in me next gym, things kind of changed a bit then, and it's like, right, girls do train different to men, girls are kind of like faster in certain aspects, like, and it is just different, and kind of changed things up a bit then. And then I was in Paddy's gym then, Paddy Owen's gym.
Oh yeah.
And he kind of noticed this about me. Sorry, he noticed this about me fighting style that was very kind of like, you know, rushed and stuff, like. So he then kind of brought me back, and he was bringing more kind of like technique into it, and it's like, don't rush. Like when you are smaller, like going hand doesn't always work, like, you know, you have to be more technical, like. So then I really started to change my game and adapt it to what was kind of more suited for me then, and yeah, it's just been growing ever since, like, you know, it's just been constantly evolving.
That is what I like when I watch women fight. That's what I look forward to seeing. Is it's generally like a showcase of technique, you know, like that really comes out. It's either you know, really good technical striking, or you know, my personal favorite, you know, their jiu-jitsu, or you know, that I really like seeing that, because then it's generally how do I say it? It's like the kind of their best of the best, you know, they're putting on their best of their skills in general, and I really like watching women for that. Where some men can just get away with just, you know, being purely strong, you know, also technical, but you know, that strength really shows, whereas women, you definitely see more of the art behind it, you know, because they have to have that technical aspect down.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I really like watching. I love watching women for that reason.
Amazing. Love to hear it.
Do you ever try to like recruit your friends? Do your friends kind of like? Oh, hold on. Well, first I would think probably a lot of your friends are involved in the sport. Yeah.
They are, to be honest. Like,
Do you have any like kind of outside friends that you're trying to like? Come get hit in the face.
No, I would actually never. I would never. Well, maybe I should be, but I would never kind of say, oh, do you want to come here with me and do this? I have one friend now, and she actually did start MMA. She's been wanting to herself for a long time. And she has started it, so she's tipping away at that, and she loves it. Like, she has that in her, and anyways, you know, that kind of that fight in her, like, and she's always wanted to start it, and I was an inspiration for her to get into it. So if it wasn't for her, I'd love to see her stick at it and actually get in and competing with it, like, be amazing for her. So I guess her really is, Gabriella has been the only person that has come into it out of my friends, but they wouldn't really, like, any friends that would have outside MMA, they wouldn't really be pushed to aside from Gabriella, to get into it like that. But my closest friends would be in the sport. Already, like, we've met them through that, like.
Yeah, no, you definitely, a lot of the friends you meet during the sport, or, you know, doing this, that they tend to be your good friends. It's something about doing something difficult together, and you have that kind of shared experience of doing something hard.
Yeah, definitely,
A lot of people don't have that in their lives. You know, doing anything difficult. The hardest part of their day is getting up sometimes, and I think it could do people a lot of good to, not necessarily even, you know, like a martial art, but just anything, even just some sort of exercise, even for a lot of people.
No, absolutely. I think exercise is so important for absolutely everybody, even if it is just going to the gym. I think it's really important, but then taking that next step and doing some kind of martial arts, you only really know if you're in it how it changes your life. Do you know what I mean? Like, any martial arts, it's people that are outside, it is hard to understand how life changing it is, you know, and it's just a whole different lifestyle. That's
the one thing I always try to tell people, and it almost sounds kind of counterintuitive to tell someone that, you know, MMA, Jiu-Jitsu, it is a life-changing thing, like, and it's a positive life-changing thing.
Absolutely.
And, you know, if you were to tell me this 3 years ago, I probably would be like, you're probably not. But it 100% is, and it's completely experienced. Like, you have to experience it to really kind of understand it. That's always what I try to tell people. I'm always trying to drag people to the gym with me.
Are you?
I preach the book. You know, whenever I'm with people. No,
you're right. Because I think sometimes people just need that push to get in, because it can be intimidating starting, like, male or female, like, it can be hard.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? So it's maybe people just kind of need that bit of a push, and like that, if they're your friends and stuff, it's like, come on, we go. So I love that.
So let's jump into your first amateur fight. When was that?
That was
an IMAAF.
It was IMAAF.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It was.
How did you get on the IMAAF team?
I got added into a WhatsApp group out of nowhere. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I went on my phone one day and I was in this Team Ireland chat, and they'd added me in, and it was the team that they had selected to go over, and then to kind of talking back and forth.
Where were you training at that time?
HQ.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a year and a half ago. So
Was it
2021.
Did you go over there with Gustavo?
No, I did go away with Gustavo, but not on that trip.
Okay.
That was the Super Cup.
Oh yeah, the
Bahrain.
Super Cup.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, it was so different to the other two IMAAFs.
Yeah.
Really was.
Where did you go for the IMAAF? That was in
Abu Dhabi.
Oh, it wasn't? Okay,
Yeah.
that was there as well.
Yeah, that was the one that I made my debut on. And that was an amazing experience. It was really, really lucky to have John in my corner for that.
Your first fight is IMAAFs in Abu Dhabi.
In Abu Dhabi.
Walk us. Okay, sorry. So you just got added into a WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
You know, you weren't necessarily planning for it or trying to get on the team or anything like that.
Yeah.
How much notice did you have?
I think I had about 2 months. In around 2 months.
Oh, that's not terrible.
It wasn't the worst. Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
a month and a half-ish. Yeah.
That's not
Yeah,
bad.
I think in around that. Yeah. Definitely had time to prep for it and stuff, like, you know.
Yeah.
And like that, I was actually just coming back from my injury with me leg, so I was actually only kind of getting back into things in anyways.
Okay.
So it was a bit risky, to be honest, because I didn't plan on fighting that soon after coming back from the injury. So it worked out well, like nothing.
At that time, were you kind of like trying to scout different promotions to try to get on?
At that stage, no, I was actually just focused on getting back into training. I was out for 8 months.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a long time. It was a long time. So, yeah, I wasn't actually focused on fights at that point. Okay. I would have been soon after, but
you're
at
still
that
just
stage,
doing rehab, basically.
Yeah, finishing off the rehab and kind of just getting proper back on the mats, like, was kind of where my head was at. But at the same time, I was rearing to go, so I wasn't gonna say no. Do you know the kind of way? The money was another big thing. Very expensive to do the IMAAFs, it is. Yeah. So that was another kind of.
You had to pay for that.
Oh god,
correct?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know if
that trip cost me about $2,000.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not cheap, like.
Okay.
And no sponsors or anything like that, you know. So it is tricky. It's got a loan. Do you know what I mean? You have to do what you have to do. And like the great thing about the IMAAFs is, particularly for the females, when there isn't as much competition to fight, you are guaranteed a few fights, like, you know.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you're not guaranteed, because that one I was junior and I only had 4 in my division. So we would have been given 3 fights. But
how many fights did you had?
Every IMAAF I've had 2 fights.
Yeah. Okay. And you went 1-1, correct?
Yeah, everyone I've went to, I've won the first one and lost the second one 3 times in a row. So. At least didn't lose, but still, it's like, you know, the goal is always the goal. But I will do another one before I go pro. Absolutely, yeah. I don't know when. Not the one this year. I think there's the Worlds one this year. I won't be doing that one this year. But sometime next year I'll be doing one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you had your first 2 fights.
Yeah.
Through the IMAAFs, and what was after that?
After that, I had the Super Cup.
Yeah.
Had the Super Cup. That was very soon after Abu Dhabi. That was in Abu Dhabi was January, the end of January, and then the Super Cup was March, the kind of the start, middle of March.
Was that in Abu Dhabi, or was that?
That was in Bahrain.
Bahrain,
yeah. So there was a kind of a national thing going on for that to fight for your spot. It was actually the nationals for Ireland, and then whoever comes first for the nationals for Ireland gets to represent Ireland for Bahrain. But it was actually mad how we even got selected for the Super Cup. Do you know that we actually kind of weren't meant to?
I didn't know that.
Right, so it was actually Russia and Ukraine that were ahead of us on the list of the top in the world, and the war was going on. And they weren't allowed to fight, so we were next. Yeah, it's just, and it was all very last minute, all this, you know, like, so we were kind of, like, Team Ireland did a great job now, in fairness, Mara and everything, getting everything
together. It's a positive aspect that I'm going to start using in conversation now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, okay.
And Kamira became second.
Yeah, we did great.
We done amazing, like, do you know what I mean? We really did. It was such a team effort. Oh, that was a really great trip. It was, like, it was, never forget it, like, but yeah, had me third fight there, and I was actually the first fight. of the Super Cup. I started off with a girl from New Zealand.
Okay.
Oceania, they were called. They kind of grouped some of the countries into one, term. So I got a first round rear naked choke in that one. That was my first sub, so I was buzzing with that. And then the next day, I went on to fight a Mexican girl and I lost that to decision. So yeah, it was just a great experience overall. Like it was very different to the other IMAAFs that I'd done, one before and one after. Just because you're actually a team proper.
Those are some pretty big events to really cut your teeth in, and it's not. It's certainly not the route that most people would be fortunate or have the luck to have. So that's pretty cool. So you're all set to take on.
Well, this is it. Like, do you know what I mean?
You're all set to take on a stadium.
Yeah. No, absolutely, and it didn't faze me. Like, now having said that, a lot of mental work went into it. Not only from over the years, but like a lot of specific work on what to expect when you do step out onto such a big kind of stage. Like it is a world stage, and just me and myself, I did a lot of preparation for that. So when I got there, I wasn't like, of course you still get nerves. That's natural. If you don't get nerves, there's something wrong. But I am very good at managing them, to be honest. And I think a lot of that work comes from before you actually get there. Do you know?
For sure.
Yeah.
So Super Cup. What was after that?
I had.
Wait, or
1, 2, 3, 4.
No,
5, 6, 7. Yeah. After that was a fight in the North, I think, was it?
Was that with your?
I fought Raquel, and I think that was what I had after the.
What promotion was that? Was that?
IMAAF.
Yeah.
IMAAF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say that. Is it?
I say IMAAF, but I think it's
your.
Let's say your. I say IMAAF, but I think it's something like that.
Yeah. I think that event I was supposed to go to. If I'm trying to remember who was fighting on that, and a friend of mine who was going to be on that, and I was going to go up with them.
Very good.
It didn't work out.
Yeah, it's a great show that, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I've been the shows up in the north seem really good and seem really well put together.
Yeah, they are.
Sorry, so you had your fight with your IUR. Yeah. Who did you fight then?
Raquel from Phantom in town.
Oh yeah.
Okay. That went to decision. I wasn't actually the week before that fight I was in hospital, and I decided to take the fight anyways. Don't know if I regret taking it or not, because I just didn't perform at all. I didn't want to back out of a fight, and she'd be prepping for it and stuff like that. I didn't expect to be in hospital the weekend before the fight.
To be fair, if it went to decision, I think you...
Yeah. She just held me against the cage the whole time. There was nothing really other than that. There was a few strikes back and forth, but I just defended her taking me down the entire 3 rounds pretty much. Like, there wasn't really much that went on in it. Like, but yeah, I don't really know if I regret. No, I don't regret taking it. You know, I don't, because it's only amateur. Like,
as an amateur, I wouldn't. Yeah, you should take as many fights
experience.
As you can get,
yeah. I would have. Yeah, I don't like the idea of backing out of a fight. Like, you know what I mean? Like by that stage, I was actually okay. I was recovered and stuff like that. I had a week to get better, so I was actually alright to fight. But it was just there was still a lot that wasn't there for that fight.
So speaking of fights, then you have another one coming up at the end of this month.
Yes.
30th?
The 40th, yeah.
30th, September 30th. Cade Legacy.
Yeah. Buzzing to be on that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The Cade Legacy shows are great. I love them. I've been to a few of them.
Yeah.
Or I've been to the last, 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate enough that I work with the IMAAF team.
Very good. Yeah.
I'm still learning, but I'm a judge.
Oh, very good.
So I get to sit in Cade's side and, best seat in the house and watch the fight.
Deadly.
Amazing.
Quote, unquote, work. Are you doing mine? Are you there to some
I will be there.
Yeah.
I should be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I certainly won't be judging yours, but I'll hand that over to someone.
Yeah, it's only around the corner.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Walk to and from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the Cade Legacy fights are always great.
Mm-hmm.
They're very well put together, and they always have good fights.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Sorry, so you're coming up to this fight now. You should be kind of ramping things down a little bit at the moment. But overall, how has your camp been?
Brilliant. Yeah. Really good. this fight, so me and Kaya fought before. After having my debut at the IMAAF at Abu Dhabi, the next day Kaya had gotten a bye, and I was fighting her.
Oh, okay.
In the semi-finals for the finals, and I went to decision and she got the win. So we're both southpaws, so this is why it's a very interesting fight. I wouldn't really be that used to fighting southpaws, and aside from that fight with Kaya, I've only fought orthodox. So this fight I've been doing, this camp I've been doing a lot of work around fighting a southpaw.
Yeah.
Because at the IMAAFs, like, I didn't know I was going to be fighting Kaya, and there was a lot that I wasn't prepped for with fight, because it is different. Like on the ground it's not, but in the stand up where shots were just landing cleaner.
Yeah.
They were. So yeah, I'm just gonna get in there because there's so much that I've been focusing on the stand up part of it. Like and once you kind of get your clicks going, like if in the spars and stuff, like it flows then. Do you know what I mean? Because it's the same stuff that you do. It's just it's different to what I normally get my best shots off, because I'm normally fighting orthodox, and my nice shots kind of come from me having the right leg forward. So it's been fun switching it up. It's interesting, like going into a fight having like these kind of very specific kind of things for the stand up to be working on. So yeah, no, I'm buzzing to get in there now, to be honest. Now, yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Sorry. So you train with the MMA team?
Yes.
At SPG.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how many? There's quite a few women that train there, and there's quite a few high-level women that train there as well. There's a couple of UFC fighters.
Lucy's in the UFC at the minute. She's the lady over Lucy.
Yes, yeah.
She's in the UFC at the minute. She comes over from Prague, Czech Republic. She's an animal.
She is. She broke. I know it was. I can't remember how long ago this was. She had broke her hand after a fight.
Yeah.
And then I remember, because I had watched the fight, and then I saw the aftermath of it, and I'm like, oh, she's gonna take some time off. I'm not gonna be seeing, because I was thinking it's like give her high five, congrats in the gym or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm probably not gonna see you for a while. And then I happened to be going to Jits class one day, and there she is down in the ring.
Yeah.
Just one hand in a cast, the other hand she's doing striking. So like that's pure dedication.
Absolutely.
Right there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no, she's a grafter. Yeah. We've loads of really, really high level girls there. Like every day when you go on the mats, like you're just guaranteed to get such good training in. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's high intensity, but it's also like very technical, and it's just I just think it's a perfect balance. The pro class, like it has everything that you need. And then obviously adding your extra bits in the evenings and stuff like that. I really love where my training has been at for the past while. I feel like I have a really good balance of different things that I'm doing. Do you know, a lot of personal work I think is very important. Like stuff that you do outside the gym, I think is, if not more important.
What do you do then to kind of relax, to maybe take your mind off of the pressure of fighting?
On the weekends, like.
Yeah, or just in general.
I see swims. I love to see. I go to the sea quite a bit. And walks, I suppose. I do train a lot, to be honest, so I'm trying to think like what am I not doing. Like today now I did the strongman out in Artane before this, and that's strength and conditioning. So tough. Like today, for example, it's only 3 minutes of work in the hour, right? But it's 1 minute, and then you get a rest, and then you go for the minute. But that is the hardest minute of your life. Like you're out of breath for about a minute or two after. Like it's so tough, but it's what you need. Like, do you know what I mean? You dig deep, like to do that. And today it's time, so you're constantly trying to beat your own time on it. So yeah, that was today, and then I have a birthday party, 1-year-old birthday party after this. So yeah,
those are always fun.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Yeah.
So how many more amateur fights do you intend? Or sorry, I shouldn't ask that.
Well, I don't have a number.
Yeah,
I don't have a number.
So you're obviously your intention. I mean, you've said before, like you want to go pro. Like
I am going pro.
You certainly have your eyes set. Like UFC for sure, right?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anyone there that you look up to now that you're like, I want like
in the UFC?
Yeah, that you kind of look to as like an inspiration.
Valentine has always been a great inspiration because she's southpaw, so there's a lot that I do definitely take inspiration from, and I love her mentality as well. Do you know, she's so focused, and I've always really liked Valentine, and Holly Holm as well.
Oh yeah.
Southpaws, I've always tended to zone in the southpaws. But there's so much talent coming into the UFC now. Like, Jesus, like, it's for the women, like, now.
Yeah.
It is just getting bigger and bigger. Like, the sport in general is growing, but, like, for the women, it is just so great to see so many different, from all over the world, so many different women joining that. Like, even now, this is the thing I love about being in HQ, there's this new girl that's actually coming in. She came this week. She is from Ecuador, I believe, South America.
Okay.
And she has come over to train with us for 2 months to train for the IMAAF. And she's a southpaw.
Yeah.
So
right on.
It's been great. Yeah, I got sparring with her on Friday. Like, yeah. So, you know, it's great, kind of, especially being in that gym. Like, it would be a popular gym. Like, she came all the way from fucking Ecuador. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's amazing to come all the way to train with us. Like, and she's really good and stuff. Like, so, it's been great to have her there. I'm looking forward to finishing off the camp, doing more with her. And after, she's here for 2 months, so it's great.
What weight do you fight at?
So 7 out of 8 of my fights have been flyweight, 56.7. But my last fight was 55 kg catchweight, because for pro I'll be 52. So we're trying to get...
Say it one more time.
For pro I'll be 52.
Okay.
Strawweight.
Yeah.
Gonna start off with that anyways and see how I go. But I'm small. Like, I would be small for a flyweight. So we're trying to get kind of fights at that middle, just to get practice in for the weight cut. Because then it's only an extra kind of 3 kg when it comes to the pro. So if I can't, fuck it, I'll go back up. It's not a big deal. Like, this fight, I'm going back up to flyweight, and it's not that big of a deal at all. And it's actually same day weigh-ins. Cage Legacy do the same day weigh-ins.
Good.
They're one of the...
I like it when they do that.
Do you? Yeah. I think it's more fair.
I think it's safer.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of shows are steering away from it, and they're doing the day before.
I get why. I mean,
prepping for pro, like.
Yeah, like I understand why why the other weight promotions would do the day before, but I personally like the day of. I mean,
yeah.
But sometimes I think it's maybe just a preference.
It's preference, and in my instance, it's all I'm used to be honest. Like, I've only had 2 fights in Ireland. 6 of them have been at the IMAAFs, and they're same day weigh-in, so I'm more used to that than not. So. It's not going to be a bother, like, and the show starts at 6:30, probably weighing at 10, so you have a full day to review, like, you know what I mean, like, get your carbs in and stuff, like, so I'm not worried all about the weight.
So, like, training at SBG, so obviously there's a lot that goes on the mats.
Absolutely,
but, like, off the mats with the coach, especially like when you're discussing your career or your future, like, certainly you're at the right place to be having those discussions. Like, how are they there with that type of coaching?
Yeah.
Do they really do they sit down with you and be like, look, this is the road you want to be on, this is what you got to do? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, it kind of, those chats have kind of popped up for me at different times, maybe after a spar or something like that.
Yeah.
But I did have a chat with Dave there not too long ago about rough estimations and when to go pro. So we do have an idea in our heads. But like that, you can't set at in stone, because it all depends how your kind of fights do go. Do you know what I mean? I don't want a certain number of fights. Like, I'm on 8 now, and they say 10. So I've always said from day one, like, my ultimate goal is to be a UFC champ. But like, just one feeling in life I just can't wait for is when I'm just elbowing someone. And I've said this since I'm like 15. Do you know, it's like all these years I've had this in me that I think about and I visualise, and it's just, I just can't wait till I actually do it. Do you know what I mean? It's one of my big goals. Once I land that first elbow, it's like, oh, I ticked it off my list. Yeah, legal, and then knees to the head and stuff. There's more you can do in that sense, but I suppose outside of the actual fight, like the lifestyle is more intense
I can see that pro, for sure. Yeah.
Do you know? Now there is this thing going on called semi-pro, and people, like, I would be semi-pro. I don't call myself semi-pro, but I live a semi-pro lifestyle.
Okay.
So
that's where you're training every day. You're training like a pro.
I'm training like a pro, but I'm not a pro, and that's why the label semi-pro is kind of there. I just train. I don't I don't label it. I've always, I over the past, since I started fighting, I have definitely picked it up a lot. I got a new kind of big kick. I've always trained every day, but then and twice a day sometimes, but then when I started like fighting about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I picked it up like an awful lot, like so twice a day, Monday to Friday, and then once on a Saturday, and then something light on a Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah. And like not every single week is like that. Like I do work full time, 40 hours a week. Like so, I do try my best. Most weeks it is twice a day, but if there is an evening where my body's just screaming to sit it out this evening, I listen to my
How are you fitting in this time then? Like, are you training in the morning, in the evening, or?
Training the pro class at 11 and then in the evenings after work. So I'm blessed with my job. They support my career, and
That's awesome.
yeah, they're
That's
very,
great.
very good.
That's probably a lot of people's biggest
yeah.
roadblock.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I done MMA before starting with them, but I wasn't in the pro class. And I actually moved to HQ during lockdown.
Okay.
And it was only the pro class that was on, and I got pushed straight into it. And I had to kind of sit down with my job then and say to them, like, look, I actually am serious about this, because up until then I kind of said, oh yeah, like I do train and I love that and stuff, but I'd never really told them my end goals for progression in the job. Do you know what I mean? To keep, if I can get more money and do a bigger role, like I will, and stuff like that. So I just never really got into details about my future and stuff like that. But once I said to them, look, like this is what I'm going to be doing, like they were on board totally. They were so sound about it.
That's
amazing.
really cool.
Yeah. Lloyd's Pharmacy, shout out, because they are an amazing company. So they let me do flexi time. So I start work earlier and I finish later, and then I go training from half 10
It's like a split shift then.
It's like a split shift, yeah.
Okay.
I go during the day and then come back to it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think I'm just used to it at this stage.
Yeah.
Do you know, like it is a lot, and you know, my mum doesn't know how I do it half the time, but I just get on with it. Do you know what I mean? But I think like that listening to your body is a very important factor in that. Do you know what I mean? Because you can get burnout. You know what I mean? You can get burnout, and I am very, very aware of this. Like, so like that, if it is an evening, yes, the goal is to train twice a day. But if there is that one evening where it's like I'm knackered, like my body's screaming to just go for a walk or something like that, like I will. Do you know what I mean? Or just do cardio instead of going to the car. Just do cardio, do something else. Like, do you know what I mean? It's important to just listen.
You know, I think rest days are underrated.
Yeah.
You know, and then I think rest days are underrated, and they really are as critical as a, you know, like an active, you know, day in the gym, sparring or you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But then again, you know, also rest days aren't necessarily rest and do nothing.
Well, that's it. The active rest day, they say. Do you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like I think once you get one active rest day in the week, you're fine.
Okay.
But I would be saying train at least once in those other days. Like it's good the way the pro class kind of on early, because you get that done then, and it's, you know, you go for your second one. But once that's done, like I do feel very accomplished anyways having that done, because it is such a high intensity. And you learn so much, and you always walk away with so much from it. So yeah.
Well, so I forgot something here. We kind of glossed over, I missed bringing up your recent Grapple Queens.
Oh yes, yeah.
How was that? I was supposed to go to that, but I forgot completely about it. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, not going on, yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, two kids and everything, just completely spaced.
Mental, yeah.
Yeah, but I was really bummed I missed it. I watched your match.
Did you watch
I watched
it?
everyone's matches, but I watched yours in particular.
Yeah.
You know, how was that experience? Because that's pretty cool. Like the whole Grapple Queens kind of concept is really awesome.
It really
is.
is.
And I really like how they had brought that together. But you know, what was your experience like?
Yeah, I was honoured, to be honest.
Sorry, did they approach you for that, or did you kind of put your name in and they picked you, or?
They approached me. I'd been on the two cards before that. In Tala. And they said to me, do you want to do the tournament, or do you want a match on it? And I was going to do, so you know the crack with the tournament, like it was a mixture of brown belts and purple belts under 66 and then under a higher weight. So they asked me if I wanted to do a tournament, and I thought about it, and I had a chat with a few of the guys, and I ended up taking a match instead of doing a tournament, because these ladies are specialists in jiu-jitsu, and for example, like I walk around between 58 and 60, I could be going against someone who's cut down to 66 kg, who's a fucking purple belt going on black belt, you know. So I did consider it, and I was like, oh fuck, I might just come in and do it. But then I said, if I can do that or get a girl my own size and my own belts, I think I'll just do that. Like so I took the match, and I was delighted. You seen that the arm, that was mental. She's so
it's
so
very flexible. Like,
yeah.
You know, that's another thing I like about women is that there's certain certain submissions that I don't want to say they don't work, but they're a bit more difficult.
You can push it a lot more.
Women tend to be a bit more flexible.
Absolutely,
and her arm was like nearly inverted. That was I'm like, how is that not broke?
I know.
And even if I remember correctly, even the commentators were like, they were kind of stunned. Like,
they were. And the crowd was like, they thought it was gonna pop. Like, you know, I thought it was gonna pop. Now actually looking back, I did notice my grip was a bit loose on the arm, so that could have played a factor as well. I think if I had readjusted my grip and got it a bit over here, I think I would have had a bit more pressure to pull right there. And John was saying as well, to make sure that you're adjusting the funny bone part of the elbow, because that's where the nerves are. So two little adjustments as well. So it was a mixture of that and her being flexible. But she'll look a few seconds later, took her back and choked her out. So yeah, it was fun. And like that in Tala, my hometown. So it's fucking love fighting in Tala.
Did you have kind of a fan section for you there, or?
Not really, no. My man and dad were there, and that was what was most important to me. Like starting off fighting in the other side of the fucking world and I know it was jiu-jitsu compared to MMA, but it's still equally as important, just still competing. To have the bout with him there, it really was amazing. So yeah, no, and even the next fight now, that's only around the corner as well. That's in Tala as well. So I just love fighting in Tala. It's where I'm from. Do you know what I mean? It's my roots.
It's always something special to be fighting somewhere. You know, like it's a part of you. You're kind of representing
Absolutely.
it. So I totally get that.
Yeah, not even Dublin, like Tala. Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's even more specific.
Yeah, I fucking love Tala. Like, I really do. Like, I just think it has so much in it. Like, you're close to the mountains, you're close to the beach, you've loads of shops. Like, you have so much nature around. Do you know what I mean? So much nature. Like, parks are literally forest. Like, it's. Do you know what I mean? I love Tala, and it's close to town, and
great spot around here. I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
You know, I've kind of grown to. What am I trying to say? I've grown to love this place. You know, like, I mean, it's the first place I lived when since I moved here.
Lovely, yeah.
And sometimes I feel like Tala has this reputation.
It does.
Of not necessarily being the nicest.
Yeah, it does.
But it's actually like, I don't know if maybe just times have changed or what, but like, certainly there's some areas of it that are, you know, to be desired. But I'd say most of it on a whole is it's really nice.
Yeah.
You know, and you got houses that are going for $600,000 now around here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you know, that's an improvement for sure, and that definitely should that definitely shows how, you know, things aren't necessarily the stereotype that you know, people.
You can't judge a book by its cover. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of parts of Dublin that have that same reputation. Now 100%. I know Tala was singled out for a few things, but I think the first thing
to be fair, like Square Level 3, like that really has a reputation for a reason. I love going up there for the spectacle. So
do you know why it's called the Square?
Because it's a pyramid.
It's a pyramid. Well, and they thought that people couldn't spell pyramid, so they called it a square.
Seriously?
Yeah. Well, that's what they say, anyways. Because it's not a square, like it goes like that in a pyramid.
Yeah.
But everyone calls it the square, so that's what they say. Yeah.
That's funny. I kind of always wondered about because it's a pyramid and like why? Yeah.
Yeah.
But interesting story. I hope that's true. But yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah. So, like, what's your favorite thing to do? Like, you know. Today's striking, you know, I love striking, or you know, like today we're practicing, you know, submissions from, you know, close guard or something like that. You know, like what's your favorite thing to practice, I guess. So
probably the MMA rounds, because that's a bit of everything. Mondays we do 5x5s, and that's everything. And then the Fridays are great as well. That's 10x5, and that's Jits with hits. So you put your gloves on.
Big gloves?
Small gloves.
Oh, okay.
Small gloves. I like anything that's kind of mixing it up.
You say Jits with hits?
Jits with hits.
Yeah. I like that.
It sounds nice, doesn't it? Jits with hits. Yeah. So I love that. I think the ultimate thing is the fight sims in the page, because the way it's set up in HQ, you go in and they're normally before or just after the class starts. So you have the gym looking at you, sparring. So it really does simulate a fight like that. And you've seen in the gym, obviously, where it has all the wallpaper of like the crowd and stuff, like, and it's just a deadly setup, like. So I love fight sims, and like that, you get to put into play what you've been practicing, like. So I'd say ultimately the best part of training would be the fight sims, because you get to go a bit more, but. Like, it's all equally, like, that's the thing with MMA, there's just so much in it, and there's so many different things to be doing. Do you know, like, you have your Jits class, and you have your MMA class, and then you have your wrestling, and then you have K1, like I do PTs as well, and it's cardio based as well, but that's kind of based around K1 Muay Thai. Then you have your cardio sessions specifically, then you have your strength and conditioning, and then, like, this is the thing with really living that lifestyle, like, it doesn't just end there. It eats into what you eat. It eats into, you know, how do you spend your evenings, how do you start your day off, like, what are you doing before the mats? Are you just rolling out of bed and jumping in, or you know what I mean? Sure. Like, there's so many different factors that play into the overall game of MMA. It really is mixed martial arts. So for me, like, I'm just always trying to do my best, you know what I mean? Like, I know what the best looks like, and I'm just trying my best to get there.
Do you so after this fight's coming up, what did I say? So you have your fight coming up. Do you have your eyes set on another promotion to jump on after that, or?
Yeah, Cage Legacy again. Yeah. Because the winner of this fight will be fighting for a belt in December.
Yeah.
So that's where my head is at now.
Okay.
Win this fight and fight for my first belt. Yeah.
And then what? Strawweight.
It will probably be flyweight again, because for the flyweight belt. So I'll be sticking to flyweight probably till the end of the year. Megan in my gym won a belt. She fought Sarah Carney. But it's vacant because the winner of this fight is going to be fighting for it.
Okay.
So after that, it was Megan who won it, and it's now vacant. So
okay,
it's the winner of this fight will be fighting for it then again.
Right on.
Yeah.
That'll be I'll just say I'm looking forward to seeing you there.
Yeah. So. Me too. I'm looking forward to seeing me there.
Yeah.
It's just I just love it.
No, the whole fight game in general is just.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's
like beautiful.
I have a hard time putting it in words sometimes because like I still feel like I'm new at the whole thing. So like, you know, I'm certainly not one to, you know, have an opinion other people should listen to about it. But it is, it's beautiful. I love it. It's so much fun. You know, almost everybody I've ever met in, you know, MMA Jiu-Jitsu have been amazing, you know, and I have a lot of good friends that I've, you know, met doing it, and it is fantastic, and I truly recommend it to anybody. Like I said, I preach the book anytime I meet somebody, and then they remotely bring up, you know, like MMA or UFC or Bellator or anything. I'm like, oh, by the way, here, I'm a salesman for them. Let me,
love it.
Let me talk to you about it.
It is great because it really can change so many people's lives, and they mightn't have known about it. And do you know what I mean? Like, the guy kind of just randomly fell into it. Do you know what I mean? Like the way it happened, and probably like that for so many people.
No, I especially love that more women are getting involved.
Absolutely.
You know, especially because, you know, I have 2 young girls.
Yeah.
And, you know, I want them to have women that they can look up to in the sport, because I want them to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and hopefully they don't necessarily need to do it as, you know, to the level of being a pro or anything, but just even as a pastime or a hobby like I do, and you know, even just from a, you know, self-defense, self-protection point of view, that's, you know, as a father, that's what I really think about. You know, so I want them to kind of have those figureheads they can look up to.
Well, seeing you in it, they definitely will be inspired. A lot of people still kind of have this view of MMA, particularly that's like dogfighting, and it's this and it's that, and it's like even my mum actually, when she went to watch that grappling match, she came out of it and she was like, I just didn't understand it was that technical. Like there's so much. Like she hadn't a clue what was going on. Like do you know what I mean? She didn't think it was that like specific. Like he moved this and you could be caught. Do you know what I mean? And she was actually shocked. Like she wouldn't be big into MMA. She'd watch the big fights and stuff, but jiu-jitsu specifically, she was like, oh my god, like I just didn't realise there was that much in it. And I think particularly our governments really do view it as dogfighting.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate.
I do think that will hopefully change.
Yeah,
I think we're on the right road for that to happen at least.
Yeah.
I think we have some of the right people in the right places to hopefully make those nudges to the government to try and at least change
There's just been so many nudges. We have to eventually.
Unfortunately, I think it's probably a time thing.
That's the thing. Eventually, and I think definitely in my day we will see it as a recognised and funded sports, like the way GAA and even boxing and everything is, and rugby and stuff. I think personally it's the people it's kind of the older people who are sitting there on the leadership who really have the final say in all this for the country.
Yeah.
They just need to go. And then you need newer, younger people to be on the higher boards who are maybe going to have a sway in whether it's approved or not. I just think these older mentalities are a big reason why it's not approved.
Yeah, I think you're right. And eventually, like I said, it's a time thing, and I think certainly in our lifetimes, I think we'll see the change. Hopefully, it doesn't take too much longer, but it's going to happen.
Next few years would be nice. Next 5 years would be nice.
Yeah.
Manifest it.
But yeah, here look. We'll leave it at this. Yeah. So, like I said, I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So everyone, Éabha has her fight the 30th of September, Cage Legacy 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Kilnamana Community Center.
Yeah.
I'll put a link down below.
Yes.
Is there anything you'd like to, anyone or anything you'd like to shout out real quick?
Shout out to all my teammates pushing me every day. My parents are very supportive, so thanks.
That's good. That's. I'm happy that your parents are right there behind you. Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have one brother, one sister.
Okay, yeah. And they're
not involved in martial arts. No. No.
Well, I mean, they supportive as well, I assume.
Yeah.
More or less, yeah.
It's my parents, though. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good though. It's got to be a great feeling though to especially pull off a win. You get to kind of look down at them or look over at them.
I even grapple queens. When I got my hand raised, I was looking directly at them.
Yeah.
They were at the crowd. They actually stood up, and I got my hands raised, looking at them, and it was beautiful moment. Like it really was. It's just there for me. Like
that's awesome.
Yeah, I love them.
Happy to hear that. And, I hope one day you get to take them to the UFC to.
Yeah, well, my big reason I do this as well is to give back to them.
Yeah. That's good.
Make them happy and more comfortable than they are. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, here, look.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. All right, just actually.